Okay. So yeah, Lima's good. I mean, I've lived in Lima all my life. I'm used to the city. It's a big city, but it's still South America, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I could relate. I mean, Lima's one of the. I was really impressed with how cool and down to earth everyone was, and I've been all over South America, and so I get along with I'm a soccer player at heart, and I grew up playing
Really?
soccer. I'm a guitar
Awesome.
player.
Uh-huh.
I can get along with them, and I live in Miami, so Miami's the capital of Latin America, so it's not really a big transition.
The capital of Latin America, right? Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. You can
I
definitely
mean,
get away there by just speaking Spanish, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and musically, I like I'm from New York, so I'm
Uh-huh.
used to many styles, and I like things that way. And
Uh-huh.
Miami's the same way, always be a cool rock component, and my wife's in Venezuela, so we listen to a lot of traditional stuff, and she wakes
Uh-huh.
up and plays salsa.
Uh-huh.
But, years ago, I dated a
Uh-huh.
Brazilian chick for a couple of years, so we'd listen to Forró and Caetano Veloso and shit like that. So I'm pretty well rounded. But I think you and I grew up on many of the same guitar
Uh-huh.
heroes. Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix, and I love the
Yeah.
Doors and Van Halen. It
Van
was
Halen for sure, yeah.
that's probably what got me to get a guitar. I just gravitated toward it. I was like 13 and just went all in, and
Yeah.
it just never really stopped. And then just progressed as a musician, playing out and singing, and just started writing, just always writing and evolving. And I think music is a gift that just keeps on giving. As you get older, I think the trick is to learn from your experience. And I think it's like the biggest thing with music is like I think you learn how to listen better.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
maybe when recording, I think is very helpful as well. You really learn how to use space in your music. Less is more kind of thing to have impact. And a band like Led Zeppelin is a great example of light and shade. It's soft, and then when it's time to hit,
Yeah.
it's a hit. It's time to go to space. It's time to go to space, and that makes it fun. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Rock and roll is a lot about it. That's what I love about guitar. Like it enables you to change your mood so quickly and to improvise. And that's something that modern music is lacking, like electronic music. I'm into reggaeton too and hip hop too, but there's an element about playing an instrument that you can
yeah,
create an atmosphere and it's very particular. It's not the same playing a rock album that like watching a rock show.
yeah.
Like, you know,
What's
like
that?
watching a
Yeah.
live band.
The tribal thing, and I think
Yeah.
it's funny. A long, long time ago, I remember one of my ex-girlfriend's dads who he didn't speak English yet. He was from Brazil,
Uh-huh.
but he loved the Beatles, and he was just saying
Uh-huh.
how a good song you don't need electricity. You just bang on something and you got the melody.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We were playing. We have a couple of gigs coming up, and here in Miami, and we were playing a new song that I've been working on for a while, and it was the first time I played it with the band. And when I wrote the song, it's pretty upbeat, it's pretty driving, cool rock. And
Uh-huh.
then the bass player and drummer made it a little bit more of a chill out, kind of doing like offbeat reggae things and just jazzy bit, and it sounded fucking awesome. It was this
Right.
completely different initial vibe than what I felt for the song, but it really proved and kind of reiterated the fact of a good song structure is a good song is whether you play it heavy or whether you play it slow, you can play it different every time if it's
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be exactly the same, one dimensional, exactly the same each time. And like to me, as a musician, as a writer, those will always be my favorite things to play. I have songs I've written. I started writing, well, I'll say good songs, many years ago in New York when I was in a band called Soma.
Uh-huh.
And we play there's certain songs that I still play and they constantly evolve, but every time I play them, they'll be different. You
Right.
could just
Uh-huh.
and just solos or choruses or bridges or just up and down jam parts in it. I think that makes it that when they're dynamic, especially when you're playing live and connecting with the audience. Like one,
Yeah.
it's funny. One time, you ever hear of Burning Man?
I've heard of Burning Man, the festival.
Yeah. So we've been out there 4 or 5 times, and that was always a trip, man, because you're in the middle of it. It's another world. You don't accidentally
Wow.
wind up
Yeah.
in Burning Man. It's a commitment. You got to fly out to Reno and
Exactly.
drive out, and we have so we'd set up a
Mm.
stage and have a whole all our equipment and all that, and we jam out,
You
and we were
played?
playing. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was really cool. We were just playing one of my songs, and then coincidentally at the same time they had just like this little bike parade called Critical Tits going on, and just imagine like a
Uh,
thousand chicks riding bikes with their tops off. That's
okay.
burning. Just weird. It's just another 10 minutes of the day. It's just you can't plan for that. And it was cool. We were just playing this bridge on one of my tunes, and it just kind of let it roll for one. It just worked so perfectly for that moment and that environment. It was what a memory, man. It was so funny. There's like
Mm.
thousands of people there getting off on it. It was really fucking cool.
Oof. Yeah, I can see that. Where is this, by the way?
Well, Burning Man, no, it's out in the Reno. It's out in Nevada. It's a couple hours away from Reno in the middle.
Reno.
It's in the
Reno.
middle of, it's called Black Rock. It's the middle of fucking nowhere in Nevada. Like they basically build a city, these
Uh-huh.
giant art constellations, and it's in
Okay.
electronics and amazing sculptures and a lot of electronic music there, and people just go off, and it's a real cool little microcosm society, people
Mm.
trading and sharing food and
Uh-huh.
partying, and you know
Uh-huh.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like being awake in a really crazy dream. And it's a
Right.
lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
definitely recommend it to check out sometime. It's definitely something to see.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think like nowadays, this is like culture-wise, this is a pretty big event, like right there with, what Woodstock would have
Yeah,
been or Lollapalooza or whatever. But this is pretty special though, right? It's Burning
yeah. The
Man.
the thing that's cool about it that I was liked because it's not a corporate thing. It's not like okay at 1 o'clock this guy's going to play or that girl's going to play or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really very few things are scheduled. It's kind of like things just
Right,
happen.
right. Like very
But
natural.
it's very natural and organic and in the flow and in the moment, and just such a random group of people will be there, and we'd have our stage set up and equipment, all that, and it'd be like, hey, my name's Bob, and my name's Joe, and like that dude's the bass player for Sting, and that dude's the drummer for whoever. Like, and they're just humble. It's like there's no ego, there's no attitude, there's no, who's the premier or this or that. It's just like happening. And that was an incredible experience to have that happen. And definitely
Yeah.
looking forward to going back at something. Now I'll probably take my kid at some point. Now that he's getting older, that would be
Oh, how old
something to
is he?
see. He's 16 now.
16. Wow. How do you feel
Yeah,
having a teenager son?
he's
Man,
he's a trip, man. He's jacked. He's all into working out. He's
he's
like the
jacked.
incredible Hulk.
Wow.
Dude, he's jacked. It's a trip. He's not
Mm.
into music, so that kind of sucks. But
No, it's
he,
okay. It's okay.
um,
I have a son too. I don't want him to be into music because then he'll be like smoking weed and all like
oh yeah, and that's yeah, I hear that.
like I do.
Yeah, in that sense, he's straight. I mean, he drinks a
Yeah.
little bit, but
Well,
when
yeah.
he was little, though, most importantly, he's got good rhythm and good pitch. I'd
Right,
like to
right.
bribe him to do the harmony on Queen songs or Bowie songs, and he'd nail
Oh,
it. And like I had him at a drum set when he was 3.
so he's really
So
good at music. He gotta do music. My
it's
son
in
too,
him.
yeah. My son
It's in
can
his.
sing too, yeah.
Yeah, the spirit is inside of him. He just doesn't give a shit about it. But maybe I'm hoping that when he's older, but well, it's all good. Everyone's got to do their own thing.
Right, right, right. But I bet it must be cool having a teenage son. My son is
Yeah.
over there in the other room. He's 7 right now. I see
Oh,
him
funny.
become a boy. Now I used to
Yeah,
like tickle him and he's like my little baby and now it's like
yeah,
I don't want to like I don't know, like now he's growing.
yeah. They grow up fast, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy
Yeah.
every day. Now it's like he's at the age he's 16. He's going out with girls and he's hanging out with his friends, and
Right. Uh-huh.
it's funny musically because that's obviously a big part of my life. And he's like, "Oh, you ever hear this song?" He's like, "You don't know anything." I'm like, "Dude, you have no." There's a
You
whole
don't.
there's a whole lot of do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? Especially when it
Yeah.
comes to partying and stuff.
Oof.
And I'm like, explaining to him like we were in New York and we're doing these big shows and going to clubs and all that. I'm like, you have no idea, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better that way. You don't know. Maybe you
Yeah.
shouldn't be so
Yeah.
curious about some things.
Generations have changed a bit, but
Yeah.
how were you at 16? Like, were you already a musician?
Yeah. I started playing guitar when I was 13.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was different though. When we were growing up, I mean, music is in my family on both sides. Like my second cousin's a professional guitar player, and the other one was a guitar player. Well, he was in the Spin Doctors. The other one's a pretty famous jazz dude.
It was
I'm on,
Spin Doctors. Okay.
yeah, on there were a lot of classical violinists, piano. But
Uh,
so to me, it was just like a natural thing. Like I started playing piano and stuff when I was a little kid, and then I wanted to play drums at first, and I just bang on shit at night, and my mom was like, "Hell no." And then I just wanted to play guitar. You know, we grew up with all the videos and sing Van Halen, listen to all that cool stuff. It just had to have a guitar, and then I just never looked back. You know, I was just cutting school to play guitar 8 hours a day and learning leads and having little milestones. And I remember, my first real solo was like learning "Shook Me All Night Long" by AC/DC, and then it was like learning the solo to "Stairway to Heaven," and then it was learning "Eruption" by Van Halen.
wow. Yeah.
I was very lucky where I grew up in New Jersey. It was very rock friendly. Like Bon Jovi grew up. I mean, he was older than me, but he was like 10 minutes north. Springsteen grew up. He was 10 minutes south. And I'd go to the music store where I took lessons for about a year or so.
Huh.
Like Ozzy's a guitar player. Zach was there.
It's like,
He
wow.
was, yeah, he was there. The dudes from Bon Jovi would show up, Skid Row. And it was just very welcoming, especially when you're a guitar player and they'd see me. I was like 13 playing Van Halen riffs and Randy Rhoads and shit. So they were
Yeah.
like, man, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I was lucky though. I had a really great teacher who taught up in Berkeley and he taught me how to train my ear and theory and stuff like that. But he would teach me classical. So I
Mhm.
started learning Segovia and cool jazz like Pat Martino and all these different styles, but most importantly, he taught me how to teach myself. So my homework would be, let's say write out a Van Halen song note for note. So I'd sit there with a tape recorder and just rewind it, write it out in tab, and write out the rhythm guitar, the lead parts. And I'd wind up learning the bass too, and it
Yeah.
was just rinse and repeat. And I think it's a very
It's a good training.
yeah, it's a great thing. I'll still do it.
Yeah.
It's really cool that they have, with the internet, they have so much accessibility to learn songs with tabs and all that. You
Yeah.
know, I'll use them all the time, and I always correct them. I always,
You
but it's
do?
like it's important to
Uh-huh.
always constantly push yourself. Learn new songs, learn Beatles songs, whatever, just so you understand. Learn from the masters, and that'll be your starting off point. And learn everything, and then forget it, and just goes purely on feeling.
Mm,
I'll learn. I
yeah.
learned a lot too doing classical, like
Uh-huh.
listening to Bach, where like Bach and Mozart are so awesome because you can't fake that shit. There's no power chords in Bach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's the same theory in the sense of learning, like when you learn different shapes and positions with blues, for example, right, or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
There's different things that you do in classical music that there's certain patterns. It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
different shapes, but it's a very similar type thing. But I think learning that stuff really expands your ear and harmony and stuff, and it just comes out in your subconscious. And for me, it's just always allowed me to push myself. And I notice, especially when I'll do recording, I use Logic, which is really cool.
Mhm.
And especially when I'm doing vocals and just going for it with harmony, like don't worry. For me, I never gave a shit about theory to an extent where it's just like if it sounds good, it is good.
Right,
But
right,
like
right.
keep pushing yourself, like with a guitar, try and try and push yourself, try and do those guitar harmonies. When you're doing vocals, do different harmonies. Try, one or two. Find that note, whether it's on the bottom, on top, in the middle, whatever,
Yeah.
and just do a cool layered sound. And so I'm constantly evolving and searching for that sound. Like that's the blessing and the curse of being a musician. You're never satisfied. You know what I mean? On to the next one, man. It's always that's the way
Yeah. I got a lot to say about that. I mean, just the last thing you say, I got a friend where I work with, like, it takes a long time with the details, like it's never done with the mix and all, like, but
yeah,
my,
yeah,
but like my last record, I wasn't like that. It was just like one take. I was
yeah,
like, okay, one take bass, guitar, rhythm, lead guitar, one take, and then I
yeah,
fix everything in the mix.
right.
There's something you said too about like every time you play your songs, you play them differently, right? Like it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And like from my last album, all the tracks I had written in like previous bands, like punk bands and rock bands and different styles that I
Uh-huh.
played, and now I converted them into cumbia.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I think I was saying this before. And now I
Yeah.
used to be a singer too, and I had a hip hop album like when reggaeton and hip hop was,
Uh-huh.
I tried it out and I try to be like an artist, like put myself out there. But then I realized, dude, what I do best is play the guitar. People just want to hear me play guitar, not put my face out there and try to be a rapper and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you get
Yeah.
trying to make it and you actually start doing stuff that's not what you're good at, you know?
You got to follow your heart, man. If it feels right, it feels right. I mean, being a hip hop reggaeton artist is a much different thing than being a musician, guitar
Ex-
player, composer. That's a whole different thing, and the music's only a piece of it. As
Yes,
you're a thing to promote. It's just all about the promotion. It's not as I mean, you're going out and doing it in a club, and people are responding. That's fucking great.
right.
As far as promoting it, like that's not fun, man. At least to me, that side of the business is fucking bullshit, man. Like that's why I've always had a real job. To be honest, it's like I don't want to be poor. Being poor sucks. If
Yeah,
I
of
want to buy a
course.
guitar, well, I can buy a guitar. If I
Yeah.
want to buy whatever, I
If
got
I want to
mortgage.
have my own show, I'll have my own show, right? If I want to get
Exactly. And like I want to do my music the way I want to do it. And it was
exactly.
cool when when I was growing up and we start doing our thing in New York originally. And, bands would ask me to play for them. And once I had an offer to join the Spin Doctors and I had an offer to join this Rolling Stones cover band. They were like some pretty famous, and they probably did 300 shows a year. They probably made good money too. But I was like, no, I was like, fuck that, man. I was like, I'm gonna do my, and it's what I do, and that's what makes me happy. And I don't think you should compromise. You do it. First of all, first and foremost, make music because you make it for yourself and because you love it. It's your connection to God and everything else in the world, and that's awesome. But if anyone that makes to me, I think anyone that just makes money for music, that's a different thing, man. If
Well, I mean,
if you can, that's great. If you
no,
can do it, that's God bless, man. That's fun. But I mean,
yeah,
compromising
yeah.
what you want to play. You want to be in a cover band on a cruise ship? Cool. That works for
Well,
you.
I think it's like in every business, right? If you own the business, if you own your music, you want to own your project, you totally
Yeah.
got to do your own thing. But
Yeah.
some musicians just got to work, you know?
Course. No,
There's
no, I
just,
get it. And
right,
more power to them. And that there's nothing wrong with that. If
right,
they're connecting to it and they're having fun, God bless them, man. That's cool.
right, right,
I'm just saying from my point of view as a singer songwriter, I never wanted to
right.
compromise what I wanted it to be about, which is, this is to me they're like little babies, little songs that need to be developed and they evolve. It's like that's all I mean, like from that point of view. So that's what I
Yeah.
got up on it. Yeah.
You mind if we listen to some of your stuff?
No, of course, man. Go ahead. That'd be great.
Just found here, Brett Adam Sherman, right? This is
Yeah.
your latest stuff, right? You're out solo now. Or you,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I have a band together. Actually, I think we're gonna call it Sonic Bloom. So
okay.
I'm pretty
Sonic
excited.
Boom. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bloom.
yeah. That
And
sounds
then,
cool.
but I put
I
yeah,
can hear, I can hear you.
I put it under my name for Spotify and all that. For
Right,
my
right.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Can you
one's
hear it?
called, yeah, this one's called So Glad It's You.
I like this riff. I
That's
like
nice.
this reggae feel a lot. I like reggae a lot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Sublime, right?
The more time flies, the more curious, delirious I can be. I've been around the world to find the perfect girl. It took a little while, now I saw you standing right in front of me. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you.
Yeah.
So into you. Let's take a little time to find a peace of mind. The more time flies, the more curious, delirious I can be. I've been around the world to find my perfect girl. It took a little while, now I see you standing right next to me. Baby, it's you. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. So into you.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, man.
That's a
Thanks.
killer. Yeah.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, and that one's really fun, man. That one's really fun.
Yeah.
You should check out on my YouTube. It has some of I made some videos for it. They're pretty fun. This is like some promotional site. I've never even seen. Look up Brett Sherman YouTube
Yeah.
or Brett Adam Sherman YouTube because that's weird that yeah, like the one on top where you see that's my wife. The one on top of that. Yeah, put on the one underneath it. It
This
says
is very cool. Uh-huh.
don't turn out the lights. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a fun one. I make cool little lo-fi videos.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, see that right there? That's when we played at Williamsburg. You see the bridge in the
Uh-huh.
back?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's when we were recording it here in Miami.
I just subscribe to your channel.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
My little rehearsal space.
That's pretty cool. So you do have your band?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for a band right now. I just finished with my album. I'm gonna share with you later, if you can subscribe to, if you can listen to it. It's actually pretty good. It's cumbia
Cool.
music with rock
Check
and
it out.
roll. I was in New York in May. I don't know if I told you. I
Yeah.
went to New York and I posted in this group, Musicians Wanted, New York City. And I actually got a lot of replies and I met some people and I jammed with people. I put a party in Prospect Park and all.
Nice.
So I decided I'm gonna do the same thing for my podcast and actually worked pretty well. And I'm gonna go to Miami in January. But I don't know if
Cool.
I'm
So
gonna
good.
do. Yeah, I'll hit you up. Maybe we can, go out or something. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm gonna take my insurance because I'm gonna go with my aunt and I do have a lot of work. I'm an English teacher, right? I work for a Chinese
Oh, okay.
company, so yeah, I
Okay.
work at 4 a.m. in the morning and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, difference is tough.
When I went to New York, I stopped working for a while because I really wanted to focus on music. But
Yeah,
now,
well, yeah, definitely hit me up. We got a couple of shows coming up in January. It'd be cool. Come down.
yeah. I would love to watch it. If you need like a bass player or something, yeah, I can play.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll need a bass player, but maybe you can come up and play a song on the guitar.
Right, okay.
That'd be cool.
Or some percussion. I play.
Yeah. You're very cool.
That's cool. Thank you, man. You're living in Miami right now, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you consider yourself more of a live performer or more of a studio musician?
Well, both. I mean, I love playing out live, but I mean, I'm not. I'm spending more time writing and definitely way more time in writing, composing, and being in the studio. Uh, I just don't want to be on the road 300 days a year. To be honest with you, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
just think I'll burn up in the midnight sky if I don't. That's a very hard life.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
dangerous.
So, but if we're doing just, we're doing enough shows where we're kicking ass and people are digging it, and it's a healthy situation, and love that. You know what I mean? So, you know how it is, man. I mean, when I was in my 20s, it was cool because when you're in your 20s, you don't need to sleep. You know what I mean? Like even though I had a real job, but we were out every night, either in the studio rehearsing or doing a gig or at the bar or all three.
Yeah.
Every night, and that's kind of what you have to do in the sense, like, to really build a grassroots following and just get people out there and doing all the shows. So it's a happy medium. You know what I mean? It's just a question of, is that sustainable? Do you want to be an alcoholic? I just, you know
You start feeling bad after a while. It gets old
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to be like, for me, first and foremost, it's all about the music. So if we're doing a couple of shows a month, that's cool, man. If it gets more, like, I wouldn't mind touring for a couple of weeks at a time here, doing a festival or whatever, but doing it, full on, hardcore shows throughout the year, I don't know, man, that's pretty tough. But
Yeah, man. Nah, I
yeah.
mean, they're doing great, really. Like, if always you can always compare yourself to the biggest acts and whatever, like, but like, really, like, I live in South America. Like, to me, just making music in New York is a dream, like being able to do it, live off of it, or don't live off of it, just do it the way you like it. Like, if you
Yeah.
have a job, you don't need to worry that your music makes money, and that's the best thing because you can just do whatever music you want, right, without compromising on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the most important thing, is that you're making
Yeah,
music that's true to your heart, and to have people dig it and be able to hear it. That's fucking
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's been I found a really good, for me, I cut my demos, and I like producing and all that, but I really like having someone else do that. And I
Mm.
finally found someone here in Miami
Uh-huh.
who's a proper engineer producer who I really get on with. He's a great guitar player. He understands theory really well, singing, and he's a wizard with Pro Tools.
Uh-huh.
So it really allowed me to do my thing,
Mm.
and I've done many sessions before, but this was the most successful one because I never felt so comfortable. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, it's this place called Shack Studios North. This guy Fern Koipel, he's the man. Can't
Hmm.
wait. We'll do another session in a couple of months. I mean, I probably have about 20 more songs to record. So I'm looking forward to that. And with the first
20
six,
more. Wow.
yeah, the first six came out really well. And,
Uh-huh.
these days, I think the most important thing is to get them out on Spotify. It seems to be the most common way people are listening to music.
Hmm.
And we're we're starting to get some good traction in there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again, for me, the most important thing is that people are able to hear the music and dig it. That's
yeah,
that's what it's all about.
yeah, for
You
sure. I mean,
yeah,
nowadays, just, whenever you upload it, through those services, they put it on all the platforms. So you
yeah.
just,
It's on. I'm on Apple, and I'm on a whole bunch of them. I
that's
just
the
yeah
one that I saw. That was the one they put out for you, right?
yeah, that one looks like a promo site, yeah, for sure. But if you go to Spotify under my name, you'll see, like,
Uh-huh.
you'll see
Yes, yes,
that.
yes. Uh-huh.
And
This
and
one.
then there's one other one. I think it's under Brett Sherman Music. There's a song I did a year or two ago called Happy Monkeys. That one I just did at my house, and that one's
Uh-huh.
also up on Spotify. But
Okay.
the Forever and the Day, the 6 song EP, that one I did with the studio here in Miami, and I'd say it's like a real proper mix recording session. So that's definitely the way to go. Like I said, I'm looking
Right,
forward
for
to
sure.
continuing that process, and my best friend's a bass player in New York. He'll fly out for it.
Uh-huh.
But I have a great bass player and drummer down here and keyboardist down here, which I'm sure we'll do the session with. So I guess I have a band now, which is
Right.
which is really cool. It's hard to find people that you can really vibe out with and do your thing. You can always hire musicians to play your songs. But that's not the same thing.
Not the
Not when you're trying ideas out and you're really vibing with each other and improvising and harmonies and solos. But when you find that connection with people, like, hold on to it, man. That's a rare thing.
yeah,
It's a beautiful thing, and
yeah.
shit, I'm the only gringo in my band. True.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had my
it's
fans. It's sad when you lose it though, but
it's funny. Yeah, we were doing last night. We're doing, rock stuff. We're doing my stuff, which is for sure rock. I mean, there's definitely different elements, reggae, jazz,
right.
all this other shit. And then we did like what was that? We did some Venezuelan song. It was really fun. And we did some
Oh,
like it was really cool. Like some traditional stuff. Like I love that we're able to do that. You
uh-huh.
know, like you just sing in Spanish, I'll just play the guitar. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think especially when you're playing here in Miami, people appreciate that stuff when you're able to
Man,
play a different variety of stuff.
really looking forward to go there. Okay, so I got Scott just logged in. I'm gonna stop recording for now,
Yeah,
okay?
do your thing, man. It's all good. Why don't
Oh,
you
uh-huh.
thanks for it's good meeting you, man. Let's definitely keep in touch. And
Yeah.
yeah, hit me
Hey,
up
but
when you
hang out for a while. Hang out for a while. When we meet her, so we're gonna have like a group
Oh,
chat or not? Or you gotta go? No.
no, I can hang on like another 10 minutes. That's cool.
Okay, okay, great.